And I think that with what the Bulls have done this offseason, it really does set the Chicago Bulls up to be judged by not just a roster that's in chaos and in flux, but a roster that is actually that brings some balance, right? This season isn't about finding out if Josh Giddey is good or not, right? And I think that's sometimes too dumbed down with the conversation. It's that can Josh Giddey be the lead offensive connector for the Bulls' new identity? And notice what I didn't say. I didn't say build around Josh Giddey. I didn't say any of that. But the lead connector that helps keep the team, that's what Josh Giddey's best role is. And that's what Josh Giddey would probably even tell you he's best suited for. I think we have to first start saying why this offseason was a huge help to Josh Giddey. First, the Norman Powell signing is a huge evaluation for Josh Giddey because it gives Josh Giddey and Norman Powell a proven shooting guard, right? It gives Josh Giddey that proven shooting guard next to it who can attack, close out, punish defenses, who doesn't need the ball, and doesn't need to be a heavy on-ball scorer, which is what he's had the last 2 years when he's been with the Bulls. Whether it was Kobe White or Zach LaVine, it was a heavy on-ball scorer. This is different. Norman Powell is different than that. And I do think part of it in locking Norman Powell up to only a 2-year deal, it gives you 2 years to evaluate, okay, this is the type of guard that makes sense next to Josh Giddey. Now, can we find a long-term version of that? Do we have that? Can we find that, right? And that's the thing that I think we're going to look in regards to it as well. Now, I do think that it helps Josh Giddey because he's a real veteran shot maker. He does not have to be the best scorer every night, right? And so now Josh Giddey's job becomes a little bit more clear. Push the pace, organize the offense, create easy looks, feed Norman Powell and Buzelis and Caleb Wilson in rhythm, feed those guys in rhythm, and then, of course, use Nic Claxton as a screen setter, a lob, a short roll partner as well, and that is really easy and typical NBA offense, right? The roster gives Josh Giddey more vertical spacing than he's ever had with the Chicago Bulls, more athletic wings as well, more transition finishers. And again, I'm not even saying all this with Josh Giddey being the player that we're building around. The ideal part of it is that Caleb Wilson is going to be, or Modest is going to be the player that we're building around, right? But Josh Giddey is the type of player that can fit in and make those guys' job easier. This is the best version of what Josh Giddey can be in the ecosystem of a team, right? And I think that the offense puts pressure on Josh Giddey as well. With the 4-year deal that he got at now 3 years left on that deal, he's coming off a season where he averaged 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7.2 assists, and shooting a career best 37.8% from three. That means that Chicago's not just evaluating him on a flyer like when they first got him, and it's a new front office coming in there as well. They're evaluating him for what he can look like as a piece of an overall larger core. So the pressure points and the questions that you have for Josh Giddey coming into the season become a lot more clear. One, can the jumper hold up? Can he maintain a 36 to 38% three-point shooter percentage on decent enough volume?